Yo, welcome back to the channel, guys. The Grappling Nurse, and I am Samson. And today I'm gonna be telling you how I got into nursing school in under a year in California. Okay, but before we get started, disclaimer: I know some of you guys are returning. You probably like, yo, the Grappling Nurse. What happened to FitHawk TV? And where the hell you been at for the last year and a half, right? Yo, from the title of this video, I think you know what I'm saying. I've been grinding. I've been putting it in. I've been putting in work trying to get into nursing school, man. I've been losing my mind. But we made it. And actually, not only were we trying, we got in and we finished the first semester. So I figured this is a great time to kind of share the journey. I know a lot of people want to go into nursing. It's an unfamiliar territory getting into nursing school. It's hard. It's freaking a lot of pessimism goes into like getting into the program, and then what it's really like. Is it really that hard? Is it, yada yada. I'm gonna be bringing all of this stuff to you. What would help me, I'm gonna bring you what I think you guys want to know about it, but what would help me is if you guys left me comments of what you really want to know about nursing school, what it's like as a man being in nursing school. Is it really that hard? Whatever, just a little, whatever things you want, I'll make videos on it. It makes my life a lot easier because then I don't have to think. I can just do what you guys want. And then obviously with the grappling part, a lot of you guys know, if you're returning, that I fight. I've been fighting. I've been primarily stand up my whole life, right? I know a little bit of jiu-jitsu and grappling just to stay on my feet, but I have taken a deeper dive into wanting to be a grappler. So now we're transitioning from the sparring hard with the hands to now grabbing cable grips and all that. You know what I'm saying? And I want to bring you guys along for that journey. I plan to do my first competition in the summertime, because as you know, nursing school is very demanding. We have a lot of clinicals, and they do not care if you get hurt. If you get hurt, they're going to tell you, hey, you can't do your job and come back next semester. So I figured if someone breaks my leg in the summertime, in the beginning, I have 2 months to recover, and then I'll be ready for clinicals. So yeah, that's kind of where we're going. But let's go ahead and jump right into the video of how I got into nursing school in under a year in California. Now, I don't have a script. I'm just going to kind of tell you why, how, and like the little tips and tricks that I did to make it happen. Because I know when I decided to do this last year in May of 2024, I didn't know what I was getting myself into. And as I started digging deeper and deeper, I was like, at first I was like, oh yeah, nursing sounds like a good idea. I wanted to do it because I was in a time in my life where I have a good career, things are going good, but I felt really stagnant. So I was like, I want to do something that's like, I want an achievement, like a real achievement. And I thought about what would scare me into. I didn't want a fake achievement, like going back to like get my business degree, get my master's in that or something like that. That would have been an achievement, but it wasn't really scary. Like I knew I could do that, right? As far as the nursing, I've never been good at science. I've never thought about the healthcare field. I obviously thought it was cool having the skills of a nurse and be able to, save someone's life, have those skills. Oh my God, my voice. Have those skills for my family. I was like, that's cool, you know what I'm saying? And it scares me. But I know that, saying I could do it as long as I just go, right? So without looking anything into it, I was like, yo, I'm doing this. I don't care. Then I started looking into it, and I was like, oh my gosh, I seen the lottery. I seen how impacted it was. I seen all the stipulations and the merit-based things that you needed to do, and I was like, ooh, I definitely picked something that's not easy. So, but what I did was I broke it down systematically, and since you know what it is with people like us, when we make up our minds, we're just gonna make it happen. So that's exactly what I said. I said, I don't care. I'm gonna make it happen. And full disclosure, I was completely willing to go to for-profit schools. So I think the first school I ever went and applied to was Chamberlain. I went and did the visit, and then Nightingale I was gonna actually go to if I didn't get into the nursing program this semester. But what I wanted to do was get into the ADN programs here. Now, I think it will be a good video to talk to you about ADN versus BSN and why I chose the ADN program. Not only is it easier to get into, but once you're in, you not only can get your RN in 2 years, but they can sign you up for a BSN merger program. So after your first semester, as long as you have a B, You can get into a merger program if your school offers it, which mine does. And now I'm going to be going to Ohio University to get my BSN while I'm getting my ADN at the same time. So the cool thing about that is that you get your BSN in almost like, if you do it how I'm doing it, you'll have it in like 2 years and like 5 weeks, right? So that's pretty dope. With the traditional BSN programs, I believe they were like almost like 3 years. But don't quote me. But we'll make a whole video on ADN versus BSN maybe in the future, okay? So the school I'm at right now is the Sierra College ADN program in Sacramento. The 3 schools that I really was gunning for was Sierra College, American River, and Sac City. So and possibly Delta College. So that's like my first tip. First off, you got to know what schools are in your area. Don't just apply for one school. Don't just be like, yo, I'm in Sacramento area, I want to go to Sac State, right? You're cutting your chances really, really slim, because as I said before, it is a lottery system. So even if you have everything done and everything is good, you have all A's, GPA is 4.0, whatever, you got a good score on the T's, which I really didn't, it still doesn't guarantee you get in. But if you're applying to 3 or 4 different schools, now your chances increase a lot. And I'll tell you a little something about that lottery at the end of this video, so stick around. But so pick your schools. So I picked those 3 and I was like, okay. From there, I opened up Google Docs and I started writing the prereqs that I would need. Now, you're probably thinking I must have had some prereqs done. But to be honest with you, the prereqs that I needed for Sierra that I got into, the school I got into, I didn't have any of those prereqs prior to going to the school. Everything that I took during this year was what I needed for Sierra. So you can legitimately get into these schools in under a year. But I did have schooling before. I have hella credits, right? But the only thing that went over was my math, which I actually took a CLEP exam for the math for the for-profit. So that doesn't matter. We'll talk about that later. I had a math, which was a C. Most of the grades I had in the past were like C's, right? And then I had an English, which I overrid. I took another English class, a higher one, to override that one because it was a C. And then I had psychology, which I retook psychology because it was a C. And then I also retook chemistry because I was like, last time I took chemistry, I got a C in it, and I didn't deserve that C. The teacher was being very gracious because I did not understand shit. But I was like, let me go into this journey and really try to understand the thing. So what I did was I went to the schools. Each school has the prereqs that are required. There's required prereqs to get into the program, and then there's additional prereqs. They're called, I think, co-requisites or something. And those are classes that need to be taken before you graduate. So those aren't classes that you need to worry about right away, but you need to worry about the actual prereqs because you need those before you can actually get admitted and apply. So worry about the prereqs. What I did was I wrote each school down, I wrote the prereqs down, and then as I took the classes, I greened them out for each school. That way I can stay organized and I can see list by list what I needed. And once I had them all leveled out, I put the semesters. I said, okay, I'm gonna take this semester. I'm gonna take this semester, and this. So I took a summer course. I took summer semester, fall semester, and a winter intersession, and that was it. And the winter intersession was it's like 5 weeks, right? So it was a two month. I think summer's 2 month, fall's 4 months, and then winter intersession's 5 weeks. So that's like 7 months and a week, right, of classes. In the summer, I took chemistry, I took nutrition, and I took the upper level English course, and all A's. Everything that I took, I got all A's, okay? So this is also going to be something that you guys are probably wondering. How did you get anatomy, physiology, and microbiology done so fast? Those are your core classes. Those are the classes that most of the, I would say, students going into nursing school are like really panicked about. Like, oh my God, I got to get a good grade on this, which is true, right? Be panicked. Be very, very, very scared. I'm just kidding. Don't be. It's not that hard. I took anatomy, physiology, and micro and human development all in the same semester, in fall semester. And when I was applying for it or setting up my schedule, my counselor was like, yo, what are you doing? This is impossible. And I was like, impossible is just a word to me. No, I didn't say that. I was actually very nervous because when I looked on Google, and a lot of me going into this was trial and error, and I was going to like Reddit and I was going to Google and I was like looking stuff up, and most of the stuff you're gonna find is very negative. So hopefully here will be positive, right? Um, it's hard, but it wasn't impossible, right? And so what I did was I found an 8-week anatomy, 8-week physiology course, which was at Sierra. And I think Sierra was the only school in this area that offers it. So you might have to search around. I went to 2 different schools every semester, at least 2, some maybe 3, right? But I went to Sierra and American River the most, and I did them concurrent. So some of them were online, some of them I had to drive to that campus and drive to this campus. Fall, I took anatomy, physiology. They're 8-week courses, so they're online and in person. You can't take anatomy, physiology, or micro all online. You have to have the labs that go with it. So I went in for the first 8 weeks anatomy at Sierra. We got an A. And then I went in for the next 8 weeks to Sierra for physiology, and we got an A. Microbiology was at American River. You got to go in, you got to do a lab, you got an A in that. I can tell you what, anatomy, physiology wasn't that hard, taking them with everything. It's a lot of memory based, right? And I'm very good at the memory things. Microbiology, on the other hand, was something else. That's a hard class. My teacher actually curves everyone's grade because everyone, I think our first exam, the highest score was like a 68 or something like that. So it's hard. You can do it. As time was going, I started to understand it more and more. You have to just really like that stuff to really be good at. I don't know, but we ended with A's, right? And I can tell you, it wasn't like it wasn't easy, but it wasn't like you can't do it. So if it's something that you're thinking about doing, you can definitely do it. Like I said, science is not my strong suit. So if I can do it, you can definitely do it. And full disclosure, I worked 2 jobs, still had family time, still did all that, right, while I was doing this. So, yeah. And then in winter intercession, I retook a psychology class, and then I took an anthropology, which I didn't need for the school, but I needed it as a co-rec. But I think I needed it for another school to get in. So I just took it just in case. That's another thing. Certain schools require different things. Like Sierra, I don't think they needed a math class, but they needed something else, like a speech or something. American River didn't need I forgot what it doesn't need. You have to look at your specific school, but it needed the math class, right? So different schools require different things. So you got to really kind of see what you have, see what you need to take, and make sure that you're taking the proper classes for that school. After you get all your classes taken, right, you want to try to get the best grades, obviously, because how the application works is it's point based. So every school around me requires 70 points to get into. And how that works is you can go to the school website and you can the nursing section, and you can pull up their checklist. And each checklist, sometimes the PDF will allow you to click, and when you click something that you have, it'll show you how many points you get, right? And at the end of the checklist, you need to have at least 70 points to just be able to apply. So it's based off of if you have prior work experience in the healthcare field, you get 5 points. If you have, it's based off your anatomy, physiology, micro, the major science classes, and those give you I think the most points. So if you get a 4.0 in that, I think for me it was like 35 or 40 points I got just from having a 4.0. If you have like a 3.5 to 3.7, you might get 35, a 3.0 to something, 20, and then it keeps going down and down. You have to have a C or better in those classes to even apply, right? I think it's a 2.5 GPA or higher in those classes to apply or something like that. But there is a requirement. You can't just get a D in one. You're going to have to retake. And then on there, if you have to retake a micro, anatomy, or physiology, you lose 5 points. So it's going to be a box saying, did you retake? And if you put yes, you lose like 5 points. So that's something to consider too. Then for the other prereqs that it requires you to take, like the English, speech, whatever, the math, if you had to take the math, it'll ask you for the GPA for that, and you'll get a couple points for that, right? You might get 15 to 10 to 5. I think I got 10 or 15 for that. And then you have life experience. Now this is a little nugget, right? I got this from one of the teachers. Life experience is 5 points, and she said everybody gets it. So just put it there and find something. Okay, if you're working, you get it. If you have some circumstance going on, you get it. I mean, shoot, if you and your wife argue every day, right? You gonna get it. Okay, you got kids, you gonna get it. Just put it there, get those 5 points. Okay, and then speaking another language, that was one. If you're proficient in another language, you get points for that. And then the last one was the T's, which we're going to talk about next. The T's is the next big chunk of points you're going to get. So the GPA for science classes, big chunk. T's, big chunk. Every school has a requirement minimum score you can get on the T's to be able to get in. So I think Sierra was like you had to get at least a 65 to be able to even apply. Okay, so and then depending on your score, you get more points. So at the end of that checklist, you need to have 70 points, and you'll be able to send your packet in and apply for that school. So now, after you take your prereqs, after you know exactly how many points you need to get on that T's test because of your GPAs from your prereqs, now you're gonna go ahead and apply for your T's. And prior to the T's, prior to even taking class, when I was like, I want to be a nurse, I went to Chamberlain and I was like, yo, I want to be a nurse. And they're like, okay, to apply, you got to take the HESI test. So what I did was I got this, I got the HESI study something, and I learned science in 3 days, and I took the HESI test, and I got an 86 on it, right? The HESI is not the same as the T's. The HESI is, I believe they use the HESI more so for BSN programs maybe, but, or 4-year programs, or I guess, I don't know, 2 years, 3 years. I don't know how long the BSN programs are because I'm not in a traditional one. But they use it more for that. The T's is kind of similar to that same style test, but I would say the T's is actually kind of a little harder. It was for me. I bombed the science on HESI. Like I got high scores. I got 90s in almost everything in the HESIs, and I got like a 68 on science. I did the same thing for the T's. I'm not gonna lie. I freaking bombed the science again. But I ended the T, so I ordered the ATI study guide. I definitely recommend ordering the ATI because that's who gives the test. So they're going to kind of give you the best runaround of what you need to know for the T's. Ordered that. I studied it only for a couple days, and I went and took the test. I ended up getting a 78. I think I needed a 77 or a 76 to be able to apply for Sierra. With the points that I had, I needed a 76 or a 77 to be able to apply for Sierra. So I just barely made the cut. I made the cut. I applied to Sierra and I applied to Sac City, but I did not make the cut for American River because I believe they required maybe I got a 70. No, I got a 78. I think they required like an 80 or 79. I think they required a 79 actually on the so I think I was 1 point above for Sierra and 1 point below for American River. I could be lying to you. I don't know, but just know that I didn't make the cut for American River and I just barely made the cut for Sierra. And then I made the cut for Sac City. So I sent those in, and other than that, it was a waiting game, right? I was like, okay, if I don't get into these lotteries, I'm going to go to Nightingale. So I started taking CLEP exams to make sure I didn't have to take all my prereqs from prior pass. And we'll get into that. If you want to know a little bit about for-profit and what I found out going through the process, going through the visits, just let me know in the comments and I'll make a video. So the applications are due on the 22nd, I believe, of February out here, 26th. So I turned my application in, and I believe it was like a month or something where I found out that I got accepted into Sierra. So they had the orientation. Semester starts in fall. They have a whole bunch of things for you to do. You got to get your things ready for clinicals. You got to get a lot of paperwork, live scan, just a whole bunch of stuff like that. And then, yeah, you start. Right. And that's pretty much the process of getting into nursing school. But now, as far as the lottery goes, so I hear a lot of people, I've seen a lot of things when I was looking them up saying, oh, it's really not lottery, it's merit based. yada yada. That's not true. When I was looking it up, I seen some people say, well, I got a 4.0 in everything. I got like a 90 something on the T's and I still didn't get in, yada yada. One of my partners, or not partners, but one of my classmates, I think she scored like a 60 something on the T's and she still got in, right? And I think it was her first time applying as well. Me, I got 4.0 in all my classes, but I got a low T. Well, I don't know if it's low, but I got a 78 on the T score. It's not the greatest. I know people that got 91s, 93s, and didn't get in, right? So I do believe that it's really lottery. So don't think that if you bombed a score or you didn't get the highest T score that you're not going to get in, okay? Another thing, this is one of the things that I seen. It's a lottery, but midway through our first semester at Sierra, like 16 or 17 of us got calls and texts from Sac City. So if you're in this area, Sac City might be a good place to apply for. We got calls from Sac City that we can get into the next semester of nursing school. Now, there's another thing. American River Sierra, they only accept applications once a year. Sac City accepted applications twice a year. So you want to also look at that for your school. Some schools take application once and they just do one cohort every year. Others take two and do two cohorts every year, right? So Sac City had called like 16 of us or 17 of us. And that's only because I don't talk to like everybody in class like that. You know, I know everybody, but I'm not socializing and texting people. But the people that I do, literally everyone got a call from Sac City saying, hey, you can get into the next cohort the next semester if you still want to come to the school. So that's a little nugget for y'all in Sac. You know what I'm saying? Apply for Sac City because I think you're going to get in. You know what I'm saying? You might not get in that first go through, but I think the next go through, you'll definitely be able to get into there. At least it seems like it. And yeah, that's pretty much, that was the journey of getting into nursing school. I would say that it worked out according to plan for sure, especially getting in first try. But a lot of the kids that I go to school with, they're all first triers. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that I know anybody in my class that was like, yeah, this is my second year trying. Everyone that I talked to said first year. You know what I'm saying? And there's 40 of us in the cohort. And another thing is that if you get waitlisted, you're guaranteed to get a spot the next semester. So waitlisting is perfectly fine. And what you can do during that time where you're waitlisted, if you do get waitlisted, is start working on classes for your BSN. BSN requires a couple extra classes that ADN doesn't. Like it requires the speech, it requires the statistics, requires an upper level English course, and a couple other things that the ADN program doesn't have. So instead of just taking a year off and being stagnant, go ahead and look at the BSN program, the merger programs that your school offers, and then start working ahead to get those done because it'll make the schooling for you, if you take it concurrent like me, easier. Okay. But that's all I got really, man. I don't know. Hopefully this helped. This is not really like a crazy instructional video of how to get into nursing school, but I just figured it was maybe more of a pep talk, right? And more of like a, look, you could do this. I did it, right? And I did it under a year. It wasn't crazy hard. It wasn't easy, but it's definitely possible, right? I know sometimes when you go down the rabbit hole of looking of how to get into nursing school, it can seem impossible, but it's definitely not. Definitely stick to it. If you have any questions, you can leave a comment. I will be going live on TikTok, going through any questions of how to get a nursing school, maybe today, maybe tomorrow. And if you have any questions about what nursing school is like or what you should be prepared for, go to let me know in the comments. Make sure you subscribe. I would love to say that we're going to do a couple videos a week, but what I can promise you is at least one video a week, okay? Right now I'm on break, so it's a lot easier to do this, but once we start up again, you know how it gets. But I'll keep you up to date, all right? Look, Mr. Grappling Nurse, I'm Samson. Thank you for sticking around. Hopefully this helped y'all out. Make sure you subscribe, hit that noti bell. All right.